Well, we got a lot to go at on this video. Champions Cup, we've got building up to one of the biggest games of the season at the foot of the top 14, which Joe Worsley is involved in. His Perpignan side hosting the newcomers to the top 14, Montauban, in a basement battle, and all of that in addition to the backdrop that the Six Nations is coming. It will be here before you know it. It's only a couple of Thursdays' time, and we have got France against Ireland to open things up. By the way, on Thursday night rugby, live rugby this week as well, here on FR UK. Pro Deda, every game round, we have got rugby for you. So make sure you join us for 8 p.m. UK and Ireland time for kickoff for that one. But with the Six Nations in mind, firstly, evening, Joe. Lovely chunky knitwear you got on.
Good evening. It's needed because it's been cold and wet here. I was promised nothing but sunshine coming to Perpignan, but it's been biblical. I've seen props 2x2 going onto the Arc and floating off to the Mediterranean. It's been unbelievable.
Right, let's get please leave your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and you appreciate the content. But let's get stuck into this French Six Nations squad. Fabien Galthié will any day name a squad. He tends to go with quite large squads, maybe even topping 40. So there's space for plenty of people. But some of the big talking points at the minute, I'm sure in France, if it's being talked about in the UK, it must be being spoken about in France. The fly half position. We know Romain Ntamak is going to be out of the Ireland match to open up, possibly back for Wales. There's loads of scrum halves out as well, which leads to that question again. Can Dupont and Jalibert play together, and how can two such wildly talented players not have played more together up to this point?
It's been a running thing here for years, but especially in the last couple of months, and then Ntamak not playing so well, now getting injured, has become a real hot topic. Now, a lot of the media, the people that were against Jalibert because of how he acted when he wanted to, they felt he pulled out the French squad, was a bit petulant. Anyway, they're coming round to him again now. There's been like revisions of his performance against South Africa in the World Cup. People looking back at it and saying, actually, look, he did some really good stuff. And other people messed up around him. So there's been a lot of blowback going towards Mathieu Jalibert. He's been on incredible form. Such good form that I think he's just got to play. Now, we can get into the rugby side of those two playing together and what that's going to produce. It's really interesting. Just to confirm and put some meat on the bones, I look back at some stats today. So when Jalibert played for Bordeaux this weekend against Bristol, he was the number one ball carrier by quite a margin. When he plays for France, he's normally number 3, like Ramos and Dupont way ahead of him, Dupont especially, in the number of carries he makes. So Jalibert's carrying a lot less. And then you look at when Ntamak plays for Toulouse or France, he doesn't even appear often on the top 5 kind of carry list. Whereas Jalibert, when he's for Bordeaux, is banging at the top, and then when he's playing for France, he's around number 3. So there's a sign there of a difference, but the difference stems from that Toulouse style of playing rugby. We love watching it. It's incredible. But Ntamak touches the ball normally when he has to, because either he's going to kick, which happens occasionally, or it's good ball. It's the kind of ball you want to spray wide. It's the kind of ball you want to tap the space in front of you. They bite in on you, bam, I play to someone else. If they don't bite, bam, you through the hole. Now, that is one of the reasons that Ntamak has less touches, because Bordeaux don't play quite the same. Yeah, Luku and other players, they can play around the ruck quite well, but they would far more readily put the ball in his hands as soon as possible and have him being the one who creates and opens holes around because with his athletic skill, his chipping ability, he's just got an incredible ability to create things on his own. Yes, having dangerous people around him like Penaud, like Bill Berry, will drag players off you and create more space for yourself as well, but his ability to make breaks, the number of tries you see Bill Berry score, even at the weekend, there's another incredible try at Bristol. Jalibert seeing an opportunity after a kick, Rees-Zammit over chase, bit of a hole behind, steps, gasses it, brings Bill Berry into play. He's just ability to make breaks, to carry and then put the try scoring pass in is phenomenal. But there's a difference in styles there. So if Dupont plays with Jalibert, he's going to be carrying the ball a lot more than Jalibert would be used to. Jalibert, as the ball comes out of the ruck, often Luku's just bam, putting it in his hands, more of a classic nerf play. classic 9 play, and then Jalibert can have more time on the ball to do what he wants to do. When Dupont's playing, that's going to happen less, because Dupont sees opportunities for himself. He sees opportunities to bring the forwards in and the ball carriers around the ruck, and he'll be spending far more time carrying and passing and operating around the ruck, almost like a 10 but close to the ruck. I mean, that side of that Toulouse play is beautiful to watch. It's exciting. They can accelerate the play so well and attack anywhere on the pitch. But one of the reasons they do that is the nine's freedom and ability to play what he sees in front of him, and then take on a one-on-one, create an offload. Whereas, like I talked about, Bordeaux played differently, and that's reflected in the stats. That's reflected in when Jalibert plays for France, the stats aren't the same as when he plays for Bordeaux. He gets less opportunities with the ball in his hands. Still enough to have a huge influence, but Ramos and Dupont are two players that have a massive influence in the kicking stakes. Again, Ntamak and Jalibert will be third behind them in the kicking stakes, and when you think about a fly half, it's going to be, you think he'd be number one, but he's not. And for Bordeaux, he'd be probably the number one kicker as well, and kick the majority of the time with them. Probably Luka wouldn't be far behind. Boris kicks the country mile as well, but again, Jalibert can kick as well, chips, long kicks, contestables. He's doing a lot of that work as well. So it's just Bordeaux lean more heavily on him than France. France lean more heavily on their 9 to create opportunities and play in that Toulouse style. And then Ntamak's the guy who then pulls the trigger and does the right thing after. And that often results in him being a conduit rather than a person making the break.
All right, so I guess it leads to the question, because, yeah, that makes complete sense. But I also, with the quality of player that Jalibert is, I cannot understand why he cannot drop the hammer and let the ball fly when the ball does come to him. As you said, he'll have ample opportunities to do his thing. Does the way Jalibert play, or is it the, not the egos, but you know what I mean? Are they butting heads rather than can they work? Who needs to compromise? Is it Jalibert just needs to accept he's the second fiddle, and when he gets the opportunity, go for it? Or does Galthie need to cultivate a new style somewhere between Toulouse and Bordeaux?
I don't think they should get away. I mean, the Toulouse style is going to be key. There's so many Toulouse players in the squad. It's always going to be, the French team's going to have to carry that style of play and ability to do that. I'd say probably Jalibert would, with the French team, counter-attack opportunities. He can still do that side of his game that he's always done. But he'll have far less of the opportunity to have the ball in his hands really early and run up the line, do his chips, make steps. He'll have far less opportunities like that, which is something he does incredibly well, because he's got the ridiculous left foot step. He's got an amazing chip and gather that I don't think any other fly half in the world can come close to what he does. His ability to do that is amazing. And if he's not getting the ball as early as he would be with Bordeaux, he just wouldn't have as much time to do that sort of thing. When he would get the ball would be times when it's probably on for somebody else. It's probably actually the point in time where he should be fixing and distributing. Obviously, if the defence mess up and there's a big hole in front, he'll be able to take that. But in a nutshell, he'll be able to carry on doing his wonderful counter-attacking. Like the try I described from Bristol, that will still happen for France. One-on-one, over a kick chase where one guy shot out the line and then he takes the break. That's still going to happen with France. But what will happen less is when they're in attacking system play, phase after phase, he probably won't get in the ball until it's the right time to get the ball. Whereas with Bordeaux, they put the ball in his hands and he'll be the one creating the moment that breaks the line.
And you mentioned the story that there was about him, withdrawing himself from a France squad. Is there any thought, do you think, that Jalibert just won't get on board with that system? If he's not the main guy, he won't function. Is there a bit of that ego going on, do you imagine?
I mean, everyone's got an ego. I think I think after what's happened the last couple of years, he's going to be careful with his words. I don't think he meant what he meant before. He got a lot of stick because people felt that he'd withdrawn himself from the French team, which is not good press. I think he's just desperate to play France. He loves it. He loves the level of rugby. That level of rugby he gets addictive. It's addictive to play at that level. Coming back down to a club level, even a European Cup final, there are amazing moments to play with some of your closest friends. It's incredible. But playing international rugby is just addictive because most people are on the same wavelength as you, and that doesn't happen all the time. And he'd be desperate to be in that environment and playing those kind of games.
Well, if they can successfully weave that little combo, then it could be potentially deadly thinking ahead nearly 2 years to a Rugby World Cup, and to have that up their sleeve and to explore it at a time, yeah, like you say, when Ntamak is injured and when he was fit, not playing especially well, there's no better time to give it a crack, especially as his club mate at Bordeaux, Luku's not an option either. So
he's out as well. It's almost more like a football discussion, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It's like the old Lampard and Gerrard for England, or
two strikers or whatever. Yeah,
two strikers. Yeah, exactly. It is really interesting. Let's jump to a different discussion then. The prop situation. Awini Atonio is back. Piato Malvaca's back in the front row as well. But other than that, there are some propping issues. That confidence was not filled by the young guys that stepped in and stepped up. Laclayette and Erdosio and Montagna struggled in November. Tavita Tatafu is still out. So that succession plan for whatever comes next in France's front row is looking a bit questionable.
Yeah, I think they're going back to the future. Antonio's, I say, fit. He's on the pitch again, running around, and he's good enough to hold the scrum up for 50 minutes, I think. He'll be back in, I think. He'll be back in. But again, we'll talk about centres. We'll come to the centres later. We talked about centres a year and a half ago. The lack of them. God, that's changed. So you talk about that position now. It's radically different because a lot of young people have come through. Some of these youngsters that had a chance over the last year haven't taken it as in terms of props. I'm sure some of them will be gradually stepping up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the only consolation for France there is that England have got a couple of key injuries. Two of their first three tight head props are out, and Ireland are struggling as well with some injuries. So kind of a slight level playing field there. We'll watch that one. Wait for Fabien Galthie's squad. And you just mentioned centres. Let's jump to that. Yoram Moefana is back. That's going to give him identity, direction. It's going to, particularly if Jalibert's playing, it's almost a whole Bordeaux backline potentially as well. Who do you see? I'm going to assume Moefana will start in the 12 jersey. Who would you have alongside him?
I think they're going to go for Fiku because the other options are still a bit young, I think. I mean, Barassi's had a few runs at it. He didn't play too badly recently. But Fiku's a leader. He's got a big element of that. I know Dupont's back as well, but Fiku's a good leader. A defensive captain, which of the other players they have, I'm not sure who would be the guy say, okay, you're in charge of the defence. So Sean Edwards would be like saying, I'd love to have him in the team. I'm pretty sure Sean will be backing Fiku. Deporter's been playing really well for Bordeaux. He played well for France recently. I think he could be the guy who takes that on in the future, though, because he's looking like he's coming on really quickly. There's some some guys chasing him down behind who aren't quite ready yet, I think. But there's some incredible talent coming through behind Fiku. But I think it's still not quite. He's not quite finished yet, I don't think.
And I mean. So there's a few players that are back. I'll come to the forwards in a minute, but just on the backs, Romain Buros is back as well. He could come straight back into the squad. Is there any thought? Could we? Well, it's quite possible we could see Thomas Ramos. I mean, I just get the sense that the French public would be really frustrated if Ramos is at 10, but at least it would give you a real aerial warrior at the back. If that were to happen. Yeah. I think when they play England, that'd be interesting because England's game plan now is very much focused on aerial duels. And Atisogbe and Buros, I think you're going to have them available to come on the pitch at some point, at least. If you want to win that battle, because Penaud's not that amazing, Bielberry's not phenomenal, and Ramos either. So you've got three guys who aren't that great under the high ball, and honestly, the French are beginning to wake up to that side of the game and how that could affect selection. I think it would be less surprising for people to see Buros, see Atisogbe in the mix when it comes. I'll tell you what. Let's we'll touch upon the back row, which is the other interesting talking point with Francois Cross, with Charles Olivon, with Paul Boudouin, all available that were absent through November. So let's run through. We both before this, and we don't know what each other has said. We've written down a starting 15 for the Ireland match, and we'll linger on the back row when we get there because that'll be interesting. But I'm assuming our props are the same.
Yeah, Gros, Antonio.
Correct. Yeah, and hooker.
I went for Mavaka.
Yeah, I went for Marchand with Malvaca on the bench. Either or, really. I think Marchand's been playing really well, but Malvaca is a different beast. Yeah.
Put him in.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Lock. We're both going to have Flamont, right?
Yeah, but again with him, I'm an unerring because of the back row choices he's going to make behind it. But I went for Flamont in the end in the second row.
With?
I went for Miafu.
Yeah, I went for Miafu. I was thinking kind of second half bomb squad like Malvaca and Miafu, and Miafu hasn't been as dominant as he has in the past. And I just can't not pick Guiar, so I've gone for Guiar in the lock alongside Flamont.
But that's not a bad choice. He's not.
I mean, Malvaca, Marchand, Guiar, Miafu. It's good options, isn't it?
Yeah, very good options. I mean, Aradu's really good. Aradu's really good as well.
He is.
Brennan's not bad, but Aradu's really good. You want him on the pitch, but you would not have Flamont and him in the same back row. You've got to, that's why they're always going to have Taufina or a player like Guyard, a powerful player behind the tight head prop for the scrummaging.
Yeah. The back row, as you've already touched upon, let's look at the options that you got. Anthony Gallant, Paul Boudehant is back. Charles Olivon, Francois Cross, Oscar Jegu, Aldry. You could put Guiar in the back row. And then you've got these youngsters like Nucci and Alexandra Fisher was brilliant at the weekend again.
Mathieu's.
Oh, yeah, Timo Mathieu at Bordeaux as well.
You saw him play against Bristol at the weekend, guys. He was awesome. He was awesome.
Again. Yeah, he was awesome
really
again.
I said it's too early for him, the Six Nations, but with Aldrich kind of not quite being what he was, there's something opening up. And in terms of an out-and-out 8, he's probably the main one, I'd say.
So your back row
plays 8 all the time.
So your back row is
Gillon, Guyard. Then I've got issues. Then I've got issues about who I pick. Now, you got Flamont, and you got guys you can do in the line. That back, those two line out forwards, the back rows I just mentioned, they can do a job, but they're not amazing. They're better than I was, but they're no Tom Croft, put it that way. So, do you pick Olivon? Do you pick Olivon because of that? Across Bourdon, they're not fully fit. Would you put them in for that Ireland game?
This is the trouble because Francois Cross has only just come back and he's had a long layoff. Ordinarily, I'd just go get that guy in. He's a heat-seeking missile, defensive warrior, challenge the breakdown. But I'd be happy to go with Gallant as your defensive. But Boudehant, so I went with. I was assuming.
I've not picked him. I'm going for Gallant. Guyard. I think I'm going to pick Olivon as my other choice because of the lineup.
Yeah, I went for Olivon at 8, and I was just going, can Cross get fit again? I don't know if he can in such a short period of time, but if he was anywhere near fit, then Cross, Boudehant, Olivon, which has got a little bit of everything.
Gillon's class, man.
Yeah, I know he is, but I mean, yeah.
I'd leave him out.
So hard. Comments like French 15.
Tell us what you think, guys. What's the most competitive team? The back row, I'd say, is the most competitive now.
Yeah.
Or nine when they're all fit, I suppose. You can't get past that one.
And for that reason, I would 100% go 6-2 splits. You can have guys like Jegu or if it is Gallant, then him on the bench as well. Back line, I've gone Dupont Jalabert.
Yeah, same.
Centres.
You said that already.
Sorry, say again.
Who did you go for your outside centre?
Deporter.
Interesting. My back three is Pena Ramos LBB.
Pena Ramos at LBB. Yeah, against Ireland, against England, as you say, it might be a different selection, but 6-2 split. Oh, the backup scrum half, Baptiste Saran played again at the weekend, so he is back fit and available. So I've got.
There's a lot of heat around him. He's pretty.
I'll be thinking him and Fiku as my 2 backs on the bench. But man, that's a tidy team. They're favourites for the Six Nations. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, Yeah, with the way the fixtures fall as well. First and last game in Paris. Epic.
Let us know what you think. Leave your comments down below.